Hello everyone, today I'm going to be starting a new series where I discuss a TV series or movie that is based on a book. And this first series will be The Serpent Queen. And this will have some spoilers, so if you have not seen The Serpent Queen on Stars, watch it and then come back here. And this is a story about Catherine de' Medici, who marries into the French royal family. She marries Henry, Duke of Orleans, and eventually becomes Queen of France and the Queen Mother and all that. And the reason I wanted to start this was because I have been recently watching um, Heather Tisco and her husband Jonathan watch and discuss The Tudors after watching it. I think Heather watched it 10 years ago. And so I'm doing this myself, but I am doing it a little bit differently because I don't have anyone to bounce ideas off of. It's just me talking about some things. So I will be, in each episode, I will be discussing some of the historical inaccuracies that jumped out at me and some things that were true that kind of some people may have questions about, and I will also give a recap of the episode. And I'm not going to go through every single historical inaccuracy, such as the clothing or whatever, because I don't know too much about clothing, and we'd be here all day. So just one or two historical inaccuracies, and then something, some things that were the that were true, some things that jump out at me. So let's get it started. Okay, so the story first starts off with Catherine de' Medici, who is getting ready for her son Charles IX's coronation, who is a minor at this time. I think he's about 9 or 10, and she wants to tell a maid about her story up to this particular point. And this is where the first historical inaccuracy comes in, is that she probably wouldn't have even known the kitchen staff. It would have gone up several chains before getting to the queen. She would have not asked to talk to a scullery maid. I mean, that is just ridiculous. Maybe I would have liked to see maybe her, writing down what happened up to this point until Charles the Ninth becomes king. Maybe that would have been a lot more doable and a lot more accurate, quote unquote. And so after she starts telling this scullery maid about her, her childhood and then her coming to France and about her being raised in a convent, and then she is betrothed by means of her uncle, who is Pope Clement, to Henry, Duke of Orleans, and then this is where the second inaccuracy comes in. And when she goes to France, the Pope is seen accompanying her. I don't think that would have happened. I think he would have had other people doing that while he stayed in Rome doing popey things. The Pope has to do popey things and stay in Rome and do popey things. So I don't think that would have happened. She probably would have had other people in his place do that, but then not the Pope, because he was in Rome doing popey things. Okay, and then they get to the marriage bed scene, and I see this a lot in movies. I see this in the Borgias too, where they always show like they were watching them have sex. No, they wouldn't have watched them have sex like that. They would have, they would have, uh, done a ceremony and put them to bed and used holy water and blessed the bed and hope that, heirs would come out of this, and then in the morning they would inspect the sheets. But they would not watch them have sex. They would have just left them alone, and then whatever happened, and then they would inspect the sheets in the morning. And they always show them watching these big group of people watching these two teenagers, because they were teenagers at the time, having sex, which didn't happen. And so those are a, a few of the things that stood out to me as historical inaccuracies. But one thing that stood out to me as historical truth that some people think is fiction, but is really true. My mother actually, we watched this together a few months ago, and she thought it was, for TV, that his mistress, Diane de Poitiers, was about 20 years older than him. Um, he was born Henry who would become Henry II of France, was born in, I think, 1519, and Diane de Poitiers, his mistress, was born in 1901. So almost a 20-year age gap between them. And that is real. That's true. She was kind of a cougar. Um, but a lot of people think that that was just a TV thing. But it's not. It's true. It really happened. She was a lot older than him. And I think she was his governess at one time, and then it turned into something else. Um, but yeah, so that is true. And then the rest of the episode just talks about her, being in France until it cuts back to the end when she's talking to the servant girl, which would have never happened. So I hope that you enjoy this new series and let me know what you think about it. I just want to try something different instead of doing book reviews all the time. And I want to grow my channel to different people. So I will see you all in the next video. And let me know what you think about the Serpent Queen. Bye, guys.